So here we are going to do the freaking ears finally. I'm so in love with them. So I just took this piece of foam board that I had left over for my attempted use of an Eclipse wand topper. And basically we're just going to grab out a wig made by my lovely friend at Rizuru, who does lovely wigs. No doubt about that. And I'm just going to take my fingers and I measured it out a little bit. Just to get the feel of where they're going to sit on top of me. And I just sketched out like a little cone shape, more of like a triangle, or curved triangle, my bad. And I tried to measure out the same one on the other side. It's okay if one is bigger than the other, because you're going to be cutting it down in the same size when you put it through the bandsaw that I'll be using right now. There you go, cut one in half, and then we are going to cut out the shape of it. Well, I like to work very small. I like to be very, very careful with the bandsaw because it's a saw that's being electrically powered. So I went very slow with this and trying to clean it off. I turn it off from time to time to make sure everything is all good and cleaned out. And yeah, just cut along the lines that you made with either a pen, your marker, a pencil. As long as you can see it, that's all that matters. And so yeah, cut it out. And they look like two pieces of pizza here. And the marker did not want to uncap for me, so I'm just going to use a pencil. I'm going to mark around where the sides are and trim down the bigger one to match the other one. There's a lot of extra there, as you can see. And then we're going to do it again, make sure everything is good and it fits nicely, and then there they are. Beautiful. Now here we're just going to take a headband, just a temporary one. This isn't the final one that I've used. And we're just going to trace around it to give it a little bit more of an edge so it sits on top of the headband nice and snugly. There's not too big of a gap. So when you do put it on underneath your wig, it won't look really silly that they're just floating on top of your head. Oh my gosh. Then here we are to Dremel it, and this is the fun part. It gets very messy very quick. As you can see on my shirt, there's already little green pieces right there, and they'll get in your hair and everything. Oh my gosh, it is so annoying. So we're just going to cut out a little indentation for where the ears concave a little bit. You don't want them to look flat. You want them to look like real ears. So just be very careful because the foam is very delicate. And just make a line from one point, like a half an inch away from the tip of the ear to the point in the small section. And there's me just getting some sandpaper to make sure it's nice and smooth. And I don't like wearing shoes. I realize that. Shoes are very, encumbersome. And I just hate them. So, yeah. Oh, back to this. We smooth out the edges a little bit to give it more of a curved area. Siding area? Siding? Yeah, siding. And that gives it more of a shape. So, that's pretty much all I have to do. And then you just sand it down, make it smooth. It's okay if it's not too smooth, because the next step that I will do after dremeling it will make it look a little bit easier. And that's why it doesn't look, I don't know, you can't really see it because the dang sunlight decided to come in the window that day. It was nice and cloudy, and I thought, oh, let's just do it. And there's a window right there, as you can see. I left for a second to go get my screws and my nuts so I can find out the size that could fit into the ears. Now, the reason why I did this is because I don't want them to be freestanding, like I said before. They are going to be attached to a headband. My friend, who made my wig at Rizuru, she told me about a technique in which you put the screws on top of a headband and then a bolt in the attachment. And basically what you do is you put it underneath your wig, and then with the screws picking out, and then you just move the screws through the wefts of the wig, and then you screw on the headpiece. And it really works out really nicely. And honestly, you'll see in the end that they really are cute. So here we are giving it a protective layer of paper mache, which I don't normally do typical paper mache, like glue, water, all that. I actually use the newspaper, paintbrush, and Mod Podge. And I think it gives it more of a cleaner finish, and I can rip off what I need to rip off if something's sticking up. And the only reason why I do this, especially with foam, is because when you spray something that has aerosol in it, it will break down the foam because there's little holes in said foam. And especially on those edges where it is actually two pieces of foam glued together in order to make it thick. And if it gets in between those cracks, then the whole thing collapses and the structure of the foam board gets destroyed. So by adding this protective layer, you'll be able to do what you need basically to do. And it also gives it a more clean finish because what I use is Plasti Dip, and you will see that in a few minutes, that it is a product in which is basically plastic. It is a plastic coating, or more of a rubber coating. Basically, I don't know. I actually have to look at it. I have no idea what's in it, but it gives it more of a protective surface. And I use it almost on everything. I actually used it on the tips of boots because, oh my goodness, you cannot spray paint boots no matter how hard you try, especially leather boots. Oh, gosh, it just cracks right away. So I sprayed the tips of my Nora boots with that, and basically it helps with the bend of it. So just continue to do that until both of them are completely covered. So here we go. We're gonna spray them real good. I put 2 layers. Oh, yep. Silly me. Anyways, I put 2 layers of Plasti Dip on it. I let it dry, and then I put another layer, and then flip them and put another layer, and 2 very thick layers of it. And after that, I took it in, and this is actually the wrong color that I wanted to use. But that's not what we're here for right now. We're actually here to measure out the bolts and the nut to put on top of the headband, like so. And I marked it with a pencil in my hand, and I think that might have been the really stupid idea because I wasn't able to see what I was doing. And basically hot glued the bolts to it, and I look like a little alien like that. And we put the nuts into it, and then we make sure it's hot glued on there for stability, and then twist it on as a test, and then you continue to paint it the wrong color. It is the wrong color. Oh my goodness. It took me like 3 tries to get this right, because basing it off of the wig color and basing it off the colors that I already had, it was very difficult to find the right shade of pink. I had to bring my wig down multiple times to get it to the right shade. And when I say I bring it down multiple times, it was in my room, and I didn't want it to get damaged, so I kept putting it back up there, taking it down, putting it back up there, putting it down. I'm very protective of my wigs. Very, very protective. And so you can't really see sometimes because my camera angles kind of suck at the moment. And I just let this layer dry. It actually wasn't very harmful to the actual end color. There was a second try that I did, and I didn't film that because I got paint all over my shirt, and I'm like, I totally forgot I was filming. So I had to scrap that clip. And here it is, the third try. It's too light. Way too light. It needs to be brighter. And so during the night, I was like, my just crapped out on me, and I totally forgot to film the mixing of the colors. And the colors were more of a purple, red, and yellow to give it more of that bright pink, but not too bright pink. And it actually came out really well, as you will see right here. And now we get to paint the middles, which is like this yellowish, whitish color, cream, but not too creamy. And basically, you just do a couple coats because yellow is very hard to paint over. And here are the finished ears. Oh, and there are the gloves that I promised. So that's it.